Welcome to All Business, No Boundaries, a collection of supply chain stories by DHL Supply Chain, the North American leader in contract logistics. I'm your host, Will Haywood. This is a place for in-depth discussions on the supply chain challenges keeping you up at night. We're breaking beyond the boundaries that are limiting your supply chain. Today's episode is Igniting Careers, inside DHL's college recruiting and intern experience. Our guests are Cait Flickinger, college recruiting manager at DHL Supply Chain, and Gracie Kruse, business data analyst, also at DHL Supply Chain. We're joined by interns Emma Middaugh, Ethan Daukas, and Catherine Hayslip. Let's dive in. Okay, hello everybody. We have a full house today for the intern episode of the All Business, No Boundaries podcast. Thank you all for being here. Looking forward to a lively discussion with you all as we recap what was, I think, a pretty exciting summer for you as interns at DHL. We'll start, as we always do, with introductions, and I'm gonna ask the interns to go first. And if you could, please tell us your name and the college that you attend. How about Emma? You go first.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Middaugh and I am a senior at The Ohio State University.
Okay, Ethan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ethan Daukas and I'm also a senior studying at Arizona State University.
Welcome. And Catherine.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Hayslip and I'm a senior at the University of Tennessee.
Terrific. So you guys are all back to school. It is the fall time, or just into the beginning of the fall semester. We really appreciate you taking time from your busy class schedules to join us. We're going to talk a lot about your internship experiences, but first I'd like to introduce Cait, or maybe ask Cait to introduce herself and talk a little bit about your background. Cait, what your role is in the internship program overall.
My name's Cait Flickinger. I'm the college recruiting manager. My team and I, which is made up of 5 recruiters, a coordinator, a full-time program manager, and actually a director of college recruiting, are all responsible for the recruitment of any full-time college recruits, junior interns, or sophomore apprentice for DHL Supply Chain across North America. We also then make sure that all of the programs around those roles that we recruit for run smoothly.
Fantastic. And just to dimension the size of the internship program, how many interns worked at DHL this past summer?
We had 284 summer interns this summer.
Okay. And is that typical, or that sounds like a high number to me?
It is. We have been ranging anywhere between 275 and almost 300. So I think last year we were actually at 299. So 284 is right in our range, and we're hoping to beat that 300 number this coming summer in 26.
Terrific. Okay, so Gracie, you were part of the, it sounds like record year as an intern, and you are now a full-time DHL associate. Tell us where you went to school, what your experience was before full-time employment with DHL, and what your role is now, please.
So I attended Miami University of Ohio. I just graduated in May of 2025, but starting in the summer of 2023, I was a part of the apprenticeship program. And so I worked in a warehouse in Lockbourne, Ohio. And then last summer of 2024, I transferred into a business data analyst internship role at the SCSC in Westerville. And I continued on with that track. And now I am a full-time business data analyst for the technology sector.
Okay, great. So Cait, maybe a bit more about the history of the internship program. Why did DHL set it up? How do you run it, generally speaking? And what are some of the features of an intern's experience over a summer?
So the college recruiting program as a whole is about 2 decades old. The internship program is about 10 to 15 years old then. I think we're right in between that 10 to 15 mark. But ultimately, the internship program was born out of the thought of we need to start pipelining for our full-time talent even sooner. And so we bring individuals in, like how we have on the call today, in the middle between their junior and senior year to add value to the organization in their specific role. So most of the time, you're going to see individuals in an operations-based role because that is what we do most of the time. So as an operations intern, their day-to-day work is really supporting the leadership at that site doing different projects that are around continuous improvement, really helping save time, money, energy, whatever the team may need, as well as getting exposure to that full-time role, that supervisor position. Of course, we have individuals like Gracie and like Emma who then are in maybe more functional or support roles. So because the program has grown so much, other teams have seen how successful it's been within operations and said, hey, I want that too. And so we do have interns that are also in IT, finance, accounting, HR, business analytics, etc. And again, that's the goal is the same. We're looking to get them real life experience on the job. Hopefully they're making an impact on their team. We're giving them that professional development. And then the hope also is that we're able to give them an offer before they go back for their senior year to consider, to then hopefully join us full time after they graduate.
Terrific. That's a really good overview. So let's dive into our interns' experience over the summer. Maybe Catherine, starting with you, what was your assignment and where were you located?
So I was an operations intern at the Kinview site in Palmetto, Georgia. So as Caitlin mentioned earlier, my primary responsibilities were supporting our operations supervisors on a day-to-day basis, but it was also an incredible experience because I was able to do site projects as well as the Capstone project.
Okay, good. And just when you say you were supporting the ops leadership in the site, what kinds of things were you doing?
So I would primarily help them manage our labor management system. So I would help them approve indirect time. I would help with inbound and outbound tasking, help on the dock or in the welcome center as needed as well.
Okay, great. Ethan, how about you?
Yeah, so I spent the summer at the FIGS location in Goodyear, Arizona, and as Catherine mentioned, I was an operations intern as well, and I was able to support our supervisors on a day-to-day basis. What that looked like for me was, in the beginning, I did a lot of shadowing, trying to understand their workflow. My site has a lot of automation, so about halfway through, I got to start working more with that and start working on my site project, which was to improve our efficiency and time management in the picking process. And at the end of the summer, that resulted in a 5% decrease, which saves about 20 time clock hours a day.
Okay, fantastic. And Ethan, how does that correlate to your studies at Arizona State?
Yeah, it directly correlates. One of my majors is global logistics management, and so with the process improvements I've already seen this summer, I'm able to take that into the case studies I'm working on currently for my classes, and hopefully take that into a full-time role.
Yeah, and Catherine, I should have asked you the same question. How does your work relate to your schoolwork?
So for my site project personally, I was tasked with finding the best and most efficient outbound staging techniques. And so how that's kind of correlating to even classes I'm in right now is I'm really able to see how those improvements are saving the company money and how those improvements are used on a day-to-day basis and how that translates into every aspect of the supply chain and of logistics and how it's saving the company money.
Okay, great. All right, last but not least, Emma, tell us about your internship. Where were you and how did that relate to what you're studying at Ohio State?
So I was a graphic design intern in the marketing department at the headquarters here in Westerville, Ohio. And I was brought on specifically for the One Stop Shop project. So the One Stop Shop is a centralized location for general managers to go on and order signage for the warehouses for safety, HR material. It ranges from multiple things, and there's over 200 items on this site. So my job was going through and auditing all of those and seeing if they needed to be brought up to brand standards with verbiage and outdated logos for all 550 warehouses across North America. And I would say that relates also my capstone project. We got to work really closely with Cait in the internship program. I got to help update marketing materials for the college recruiting season. So we focus specifically on the physical materials such as the giveaways and job description handouts to have that cohesive look and feel for college students at these career fairs. And in my classes, we work with real clients as well, and that real world application of understanding your target audience and making sure that the work you're doing relays what they're wanting as well.
Terrific. That sounds like a really good project. And Gracie, I know you're an old hand intern, but tell us what your internship was and what your field of study was.
Yeah, so I studied information systems and cybersecurity management. And going into my internship with data analytics, that really corresponded since a lot of what we do is creating Power BI reports that are kind of standardized across the sector so that all of our sites can use them and leverage them to make better business decisions. So in my courses, I learned SQL querying, I learned how to use Power BI, the front end, the visualization aspects with graphs and other visuals, as well as the back end, which includes the model aspect as well. So bringing that into my internship was definitely a valuable experience.
Okay, Cait, back to you. Heard a little bit about something called the Capstone. What is that, and how is that that activity or kind of milestone evolved over the life of the internship program?
So I would say probably is arguably the highlight for everyone over the summer, not just the interns, but my team and the business as well. So we place interns into groups of 4 to 7, and they're given a project by the business to work on collaboratively for about 8 weeks. These projects are chosen by the business, so they are really things that need hands-on attention. So you heard Emma mention that she actually did a capstone project as it related to my team. So we threw our hat in the ring this year and asked a group of interns to help us out with something that we didn't have a lot of time to do on our day-to-day basis, but we knew that we had the talent and our interns to do so. And that's really what our business does, is to leverage the interns, is use their time, their talent, their energy to look at a problem that maybe they just haven't had time to do so yet. So they collaborate for about 8 weeks. And then we bring everyone to Columbus, Ohio for what is now evolved into a 2.5 day event. And during this time, on the morning of day 2, the interns actually will present their project in front of business leadership. So I say evolved into 2.5 days. I believe when it started, it was just the one day where people came in, they presented their project, they maybe did a little bit of networking. Where now, as I mentioned, we have 2.5 days where we bring interns in the night before. They get the chance to network with each other in a very informal way, just to kind of get everybody comfortable and jiving together. And then day 1 is really spent for the interns doing different professional development opportunities, learning about the industry, doing a give back project with solutions design and operations excellence. And then we end day 1 with a business networking dinner where we bring the business in so they get to join us. And then day 2 again starts with our interns simultaneously presenting their projects. I think we had 8 rooms this year, all with 8 to 9 projects being presented individually. And then we do a little bit more formal networking, and the interns end the day hearing from one of our sector presidents.
Yeah, that's great. That's way too much fun to pack into one day. So you're smart to have extended it. It's always a highlight of the summer, I know, for the interns, but particularly for the business colleagues, my coworkers, and I really enjoy attending that. Catherine, was it nerve-wracking to do your presentation?
I would say definitely right before we went in to present, it was when the nerves came, when you're standing outside the room and you know that you're up next and all eyes are going to be on you. But once we got up there, everyone in the room made us feel super, super comfortable. And it was a really good environment to be able to like practice public speaking skills and practice with our group. And I think it went really well.
Yeah, how about you, Emma? How did you and your group prepare?
I think very similarly, the nerves right before you go in. I was the last one to present in our group, so we were waiting around all morning, practicing last minute things before we went in. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we've been working on our project all summer, so it was very rewarding to finally present it to the business partners and hear them interact and ask questions and know that the work that we're doing is going to make an impact.
So Ethan, you're in one of our, I guess I wouldn't call it remote, but not sort of central campuses. What was the composition of your capstone group, and what was the project you worked on?
So my group was composed of all the Arizona interns, of which there were only 5 of us. We were all within the Phoenix area, all within about a 30 to 40 minute drive of each other. And we were able to meet up in person every time, which was great. And it helped us, I think, get to know each other and get to know our project better. Our project was based out of ASML Phoenix, a technology sector site. We were tasked with improving last mile logistics efficiency. So ASML is in the photolithography business, and they support semiconductor plants. And so they just added a new customer that increased their total delivery points from 1 to 6. And so that necessitated a better system to both track deliveries and track their metrics so they can continue to improve that accuracy going forward.
Great. And Gracie, what was your internship project, if you can remember?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember totally enjoying it, and I absolutely loved it. And my whole team was tasked with creating an automated quarterly business review. So before our project, what the teams would do is they would go in and take screenshots of different reports across all of their different site models and put it into a slideshow that they would present to their customers or to their team. And this was a really tedious task that they had to do every quarter. And they wanted it to be much more standardized, much easier for them to access all of this information. So what my team did is we compiled all of those visuals that they were taking screenshots of into a singular report where they could then just slice through and select their site. And it was a much faster way for them to see all that information in one page rather than going in, screenshotting, and putting it all in like a 20-page slideshow. So it was totally rewarding seeing how quickly our Capstone leaders were able to like go in and show us how they were able to change their processes because of it.
Yeah, that's great. And do you know what's become of that since you sort of handed it back to the Capstone leaders?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I really should reach out and see if they haven't made any changes, if they're continuing to use it, and how it has changed. It wasn't in my sector, it was in the e-com sector, so I'll have to get in touch with my Capstone leaders for sure. That's a good point.
So, Cait, you mentioned that these projects are generated out of the business. They come up with the assignments. Can you think of a couple that have been kind of high impact that have lived on well after the internship program?
So I would say the one that I remember the most, which I think, again, it depends on the site and if it's still needed, right? But there was some automation being deployed at one of our consumer facilities in Northwest Ohio. And the robot was actually getting caught when they were going up and down the aisles because there were dust bunnies underneath the racks. And so the Capstone group was tasked with figuring out how do you clean without having to have someone down on their hands and knees or having to do it constantly. And they kind of came up with a contraption that looked almost like a hockey stick, but had kind of like a roller brush on the bottom of it. So that way, an hourly associate could easily and ergonomically walk up and down the aisles and clean out the bottom of the rack so that the autonomous forklift could actually roll up and down it. So I'm not sure if it's in effect today. I know it was in effect a few years after they had come up with it because I actually visited the site. But in preparation for the podcast, I actually reached out to quite a few of our project sponsors and just asked, like, hey, give me some highlights. Are they still, working? Are, you still using what your Capstone group implemented? And I had Minor Ted actually reach out to me directly. So we do definitely have business partners that not only use the work that the group does for them, but I also get outreach every summer asking for different PowerPoints from other business partners that maybe just watched the presentation, asking to see if they can look at the deck to see if it's replicatable for them at their site as well. So business partners definitely go in looking for those ideas to be able to implement at their sites.
Yeah, that's great. So it's real work and delivers real benefits. Cait, I know you think a lot about recruiting and showcasing the internship program and college recruiting for full-time roles. I know there was a new program this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was?
Yeah. So Ignite Your Future is a social media series that we had started up actually in 2024, and it really kind of got its legs underneath it this year. But the whole concept is let's hear from our interns about their internship, and hopefully the students of the world will then see it and be interested as well. So we work very closely with the director of marketing for recruiting around what do those prompts look like? What are we trying to really get from the experience of the interns? So that that way we can kind of share it out. And then this year, what we did that was really new was really kind of do a call to action of, if you are interested, here's how you can get in touch with our teams. And then when our applications went live, those were some of the first individuals to find that out, so they could really express their interest and apply.
So with that in mind, I think we'll have a lot of prospective interns listening to this podcast. So I want to ask all who participated last summer, and you, Gracie, a couple questions that might be helpful for them as they consider applying and interviewing with DHL. So first question is, what was the most memorable or impactful thing that happened to you over the summer? And let's start, Ethan, you go first this time.
I'll start with memorable. Most memorable was definitely the Capstone event for me. Being able to interact with and network with business partners from all levels of the business. And the most impactful part of that for me was realizing that at the end of the day, we're all people, and being able to be respected in the same way as a director or a vice president would be when I'm interacting with them made me feel very empowered and like I wanted to stay with the business. And so being able to see that in action right in front of me made me want to stay with the company, which I'll get to more later.
Okay, great. Emma, same question for you.
Yeah, for sure. I would say my most memorable experience was I actually got the joy of helping design some of the capstone signage for the event. So that was just a really cool way to see the work that me and my other fellow graphic design intern see our work in person and attend this event and see people take photos on the backdrop and all of the cola banners and signage to tie in that overall Ignite Your Future tagline for the college recruiting program.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Catherine, how about you?
I would definitely say the most memorable experience was actually our regional practice presentation that we did prior to Capstone. So all the interns in the Atlanta campus were able to meet in person, and then we also had some call-in over Teams, and it was very impactful and very beneficial because we were able to practice presenting to business partners and get a feel for what it would be like presenting at the actual Capstone event. And I feel like for me and my group in specific, we all felt like that was such a great way to work out the nerves, get some feedback, and be able to apply that feedback before going to present in Ohio.
And Gracie, you?
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain all the way back to last summer, but I think something that really comes to mind is the impact that my team had on me. So I'm still with the team that I internshipped with, and they really brought me in and built up my skills, both soft and technical. And I really believe that I am the analyst I am today because of the team that I was placed with during my internship. I also will call out that presenting at Capstone was really impactful. Presenting is not something that I have always been super comfortable with. And I remember going into that and being really nervous and remembering that like I have this team that I've worked really hard on a project with, and to see that come to fruition was really awesome. And I was proud of myself that we were able to go in and overcome those nerves and really present. And I was really proud of what we were able to accomplish.
Yeah, that's terrific. I'm going to stay with you for a second. As you're right now kind of officially transitioning into full-time employment, what has that been like going from intern back to school and then starting up as a full-time associate?
I was an intern last summer, and then I actually had the opportunity to stay on part-time with my team throughout my senior year. So I worked from my college town, which was a challenge. I was so excited to have the opportunity and so grateful to be able to continue this job and build my skills in my senior year. It was incredible. And then I took about a 2-month hiatus. So I took off from about May till July, and then I started on full time in July. And I would say the biggest change is a lot of my internship work throughout my summer internship and then into my part-time internship during my senior year was a lot of like internal facing reporting. So a lot of what I did was just for my team, and I didn't have to go out and talk to like other sectors or other supports like quality or inventory or things like that. And since I've started on, I immediately was like tasked with, I am now an analyst helping with the tech quality team. and I also support a site. So I'm used to like staying in my little bubble, and I'm really working on branching out and trying to be supportive of different teams rather than just my immediate one. So it's been really interesting and really exciting to
Yeah. Well, I think
continue this.
you can expect a lot more of that
Yeah.
as the months and years go on. Okay, so again, thinking that there may be some prospective interns listening, what one bit of advice would you give to somebody who's considering the program or has been accepted into it already? Emma, you can go first on this one.
I would say what you put into it is what you get out of it. They have designed the internship program in such a beautiful way for you to not only grow professionally, but network and meet people from all over North America. So I'd take advantage of it. And all of the time that I've reached out to people, even in the marketing department, they are more than willing to set aside time to just let me pick their brain about the business. And I learned so much about supply chain even just this summer as a graphic design intern. So yeah, I say take advantage of it and do as much as you can.
Good advice. Ethan?
My one piece of advice would be willing to ask questions and be willing to not only hear the answers, but also apply them in your working environment and in your life. While it might be difficult to take constructive feedback or things you might not want to hear, what I've realized through my internship is that I don't know everything, and that's okay because I have a team around me that wants to support me and wants to see me grow professionally. And so when I realized that, and when I saw that everyone was there to see me succeed, it really jump-started my whole internship experience.
That's really good advice. And Catherine?
I would definitely say my biggest piece of advice is to take advantage of the community within the internship program. As we mentioned earlier, there's so many other interns, but also there's so many people who are willing to take time to teach you and to give you advice. And that is such an incredible opportunity. And that's not an opportunity that you get everywhere. So I would say reach out to people, ask questions, ask how they got to where they are today. I think that really helped me. And it also helped me learn more about the business than just operations. And additionally, get involved in stuff that may not be directly in your role. Ask how you can help support the entire site. I know for me, we had someone from SDSC come out because we were adding a new piece of automation in, and that really interested me. I knew I wanted to get involved in that. So I went, I asked if I could help, and I learned so much just from that one experience.
Yeah, good for you. And Gracie?
Yeah, similarly to Catherine's, I would say don't be afraid to branch out. And when I was an apprentice, I was very kind of locked in my operations role. I was at a site, I was picking on the line, packing on the line. And if I hadn't expressed that I wanted to speak with the data analyst at my site and expressed that I was interested in data analytics, I wasn't sure if I would have gotten to this place that I love so much and I was interested in. It's great to just ask questions and see. DHL has so much to offer. It's not just operations. I think that there's so many different roles that are available that sometimes people don't realize. And so I just encourage to branch out.
All right. So, Cait, a bit of practical advice from you. Explain to the listeners how the recruiting cycle works, and if someone out there is interested in applying for an internship, what should he or she do?
So we are on campus and the roles are live right now. So anyone is able to apply. The best place to apply is on the DHL Careers website. What my team does is we're reviewing those applications on a monthly basis, as well as reviewing all of the resumes and all the interactions that we're having when we physically go on campus with those students. And based off of the resume and those interactions, we are then sending you through a first round interview. That first round interview is typically a virtual interview, either with a business partner or a phone screen, so someone on my team. And then, based on your result of that first round interview, you're more than likely going to be invited to a hiring event. We do hold those regionally. So, that is going to be an opportunity for those candidates to come on site, go to a warehouse, hear a presentation about us so they learn a little bit more, as well as give a presentation about themselves and interview with interested hiring managers. And then following that hiring event, we're actually extending offers. So it's a pretty straightforward, easy process. For those that maybe are in a more specialty role, like an Emma, or maybe it's later in the recruiting season, so more like the December or April timeframe, we also will do a process where we just send you straight to the hiring manager. And it feels a little bit more like a traditional one-on-one interview where you actually just go interview with them and then they see if you're a fit based on that.
Okay, terrific. And what is the address of the DHL careers site?
It's careers.dhl. So if you just search that, you'll be able to go in, find all of our roles posted. But if you type in intern, our role is the only one that pops up.
Okay. Okay, good. I think I could even figure that one out. Okay, so lastly, for the 3 interns, what is next for you? And can be what's coming up at school for you in your final year, future role. Ethan, tell us what's up with you.
For me, academically, I graduate next May with 3 separate degrees, which I'm very excited about. And those are going to be in management, global logistics, and business law. And I actually received a full-time offer to return at DHL in May or June as an operations supervisor at my site in Goodyear. So I'm going to be doing that once I graduate. I'm looking forward to applying everything I've learned. And additionally, during my last year, I'm going to actually start next week a part-time data analytics internship. As Gracie mentioned, she expressed some interest in learning data analysis. So I expressed that interest, and they're willing to extend me that opportunity, which I'm very excited about.
Great. Well, congratulations. That all sounds very exciting. How about you, Emma?
So I'm going into my senior year. I'm studying marketing with a minor in design thinking. So the way that Ohio State has it set up, I'm now finally in my marketing classes. So I'm taking marketing strategy, marketing projects, and working with clients in those classes and team building. So that's what's up next for me. And then I'm also working part-time in the my graphic design intern role, and also supporting the marketing department.
Fantastic. And Catherine?
So I am also in my senior year. I'll graduate this coming May with a degree in supply chain management and economics. And then, as Ethan mentioned, I've also accepted a full-time role back with DHL at the site I was at this past summer, and I will start back sometime next summer. And I am super excited. They were the best team ever, and they really pushed me to grow, not only as a student, but as a leader. And I'm very eager to give back.
That's great. Well, congratulations to all of you. And again, thank you for joining us today. Gracie, thanks for the wisdom of your experience, and Cait for providing all of the good overview of the program. That's a heavy lift for your team to provide these experiences, but you recruit in terrific students, and many of whom have become real leaders in our business over the years. So kudos to you for that. With that, I'll let you guys return to your college activities. I wish I could join you. Those were good times, and certainly miss them. And Gracie, look forward to seeing you around the office.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks again. Have a great day. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate us and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also re-listen to our entire library of episodes on our website, dhl.com/ABNB podcast. See you next time.